Hi, welcome to my talk titled Building Products with Integrity Mindset. The terms integrity and trust and safety are used interchangeably in the industry today. And in this talk, we'll discuss why this is a hard problem and how you as a product leader can be prepared to tackle some of the challenges associated with it. I intend to keep this talk as a high-level primer. Think of it as Integrity 101. This is an important mindset to have for product leaders and results in building safe products and platforms. A quick intro about myself. I'm the head of technical program management in the business integrity organization at Facebook. Our mission is to enable trustworthy connections between people and businesses. It is a challenging and hard space. Our teams work really hard to keep people safe on our platform, and I'm really proud to be a part of that. Prior to Facebook, I was at Microsoft building online products and platforms for about a decade. On the personal front, I live in the Bay Area. My wife and I have our hands full with our 2-year-old twins. I enjoy traveling, and there's two things I do most when I travel: photography and trying out amazing food. Here's the agenda for today. I'm going to focus on just two topics. We'll talk about why this is a hard problem and how you as a product leader can be prepared to tackle some of the challenges associated with it. Now, let's talk about what is integrity or trust and safety. It is essentially the mechanism of reducing the risk exposure of your products and platforms. Risk could manifest in many different ways: financial scams, negative sentiment, physical harm, etc. It could be intentional, a bad actor trying to exploit the product you built to cause harm, or unintentional, where people violate your standards or policies not knowing how to use the product. At Facebook, we have a responsibility to promote the best of what people can do together by keeping people safe and preventing harm. Here's a fun look at the evolution of trust and safety problems. Integrity problems are not new. They're not new to the century. They're not confined to the online world, nor specific to Facebook. As humankind and societies evolved over many centuries, the concept of trust and safety evolved as well. Right from a Greek merchant trying to sink his ship to fraudulently claim insurance, to the Praetorian Guard trying to sell the Roman Empire. I mean, the word on the street is they actually did sell, and it was later invalidated. To the Ponzi schemes, to email frauds, to ad fraud and misinformation that you see in the modern era. Trust and safety problems have gotten only more sophisticated over time. Let's take a look at some interesting examples, which hopefully will give you a sense of why this is hard. In this example, at first glance, can you tell if this is marijuana or broccoli? And if you're trying to ban this image from showing up on your social media platform, it is not a slam dunk. This one's my favorite. It goes to show how smart the bad actors could get. Here's an example of an ad, and there is a hair embedded as part of the ad creative here. Now, you as a user, you're naturally going to try to swipe to clear it out of your screen, or to tap it, to get it out of the way, and therefore resulting in unintentional clicks or swipe up actions, which is what this click fraud is intending to accomplish. This one is an illustration of a modern trust and safety problem, involving self-driving cars, and one that has a potential to cause unintentional physical harm. Now, imagine a truck with a bike rack cutting lanes and getting in front of your self-driving car. Your car's perception system could think of it as a biker crossing, and it might brake abruptly, or your autonomous vehicle could misinterpret the moon on the horizon to be a yellow traffic light. And by the way, this is a true story. I happened to read an article about this just a couple of days ago. Now, as a product leader, how can you be prepared? As much harder it is, you can absolutely be ready and be prepared. I'm going to discuss 4 dimensions that you can use as a framework to tackle these integrity problems. Stakeholders. Stakeholders are key. You need to understand who you are serving and how your customers are using your product or platform. You'll be surprised as many different ways you'll find your customers using your product. Your product could fall into any of these categories and many more. App store. Now, if you're running an app store, you need to ensure the apps are of good quality. E-commerce. If you have an e-commerce site or platform, not allowing scams or payment-related frauds should be of utmost importance for you. Let's say you built a dating app or you're running dating services. There is potential for real-world harm under those circumstances. Autonomous vehicles, unintended, self-driving actions could potentially cause harm. And social media, violating community standards or policies is something you need to take care of. My recommendation would be to perform a comprehensive threat analysis of your product. Test for exploits, understand risks in different markets, etc. Being proactive is going to be really important. Understand. You want to do all this as part of your product development process, and the ship bar should account for these risk mitigation strategies. The next thing is standards. We want to think about a set of standards that consumers of your product will have to comply with. Codifying your standards into policies that are clear, explainable, and defensible is very important. Examples. Sellers are not allowed to sell live animals on your e-commerce site. That's a standard that you want to uphold. Or, if you're running an ad platform, advertisers cannot run ads that promotes sale of weapons. Now, you want to partner with internal subject matter experts here. At Facebook, we have policy, legal, go-to-market experts who provide such guidance to product teams on this front and help us navigate the problem space. Data. Everything starts with data. You need to understand the size and scope of the problem you're dealing with. So this is important for a couple of reasons. One, it helps with prioritizing the right problems to focus on, to get a sense of how well you did after you've solved for the problem. Typically, we call this measure prevalence. It is an estimate of occurrence of the problem, or in other words, what proportion of the population has this problem that you care about solving. The next important thing is mitigation. Once you understand the prevalence of the problem, you need to put mitigation plans in place. It could range anywhere from eliminating a particular risk or reducing it based on various attributes such as severity, scope, size, etc. Finally, you want to measure success. Now, you want to measure success or lack thereof, so that you understand the progress that you made. Has your prevalence gone down or up? There are a couple of measures that are really important that you might have heard if you work on anything related to ML. Precision, percentage of your results that are relevant. The goal here is to minimize false positives. Things we did consider to be a problem that were not a problem. Recall. It is essentially a percentage of total relevant results correctly classified by your algorithm. The goal here is to minimize false negatives. Things we did not consider to be a problem that were a problem. Typically, there is a trade-off here. It is not possible to maximize both these metrics at the same time, as one comes at the cost of another. I'd recommend starting with high precision and low recall so that we can minimize the mistakes up front and we can improve on the algorithm And as we progress, we can get better at solving these problems. Now let's talk about the role of technology in solving for integrity problems. Now let's take an example of a use case of how ads get reviewed at Facebook for violating content. Here's the workflow. As you can see on the screen, we require our advertisers to follow our advertising policies. For example, we don't want ads that use profanity, show excessive nudity, or include misinformation. Our ad review system is designed to review all ads before they go live. Primarily, we rely on automated technology to apply our policies at scale across millions of ads at Facebook. In some cases, we manually review ads using human moderators. Here are some of the pros and cons of automated versus manual review. Automated by leveraging ML, you can scale better, you can get reasonably predictive, you can save on costs, and you can be proactive. Manual reviews, it works well at smaller scale. They're typically expensive because you got to pay for those human moderators and you got to staff them. And it works for nuanced cases where the machine learning algorithm may not be able to make a determination, but a human eye can look for those nuances better. It can still be a fallback mechanism when your confidence in ML is low. But the recommendation would be to try to move your detection and enforcement towards automated algorithms as much as possible. Let's kind of go a little bit deeper into the role of AI and ML in solving for integrity problems. Computer vision, understanding the visual world around us is complicated. Detecting manipulated images has become a significant emerging challenge. We have advanced ML technologies to make sense of the digital images and videos, to find patterns, detect objects, etc. Natural language processing. The world is truly flat these days, and people interact with each other using many different languages. The detection of offensive language in the context of a dialogue has become an increasingly important application of natural language processing. Our teams advance state-of-the-art in natural language understanding and generation, and we deploy these systems at scale to provide a safe experience, no matter what language is spoken. At Facebook, we do invest in cutting-edge ML technologies to protect people from harmful content. We built multimodal AI frameworks that can make sense of content holistically. In these examples, when you separate the text and the image, they're seemingly fine, but when you put them together, they result in hate memes. The multimodality frameworks that we built comes packaged with state-of-the-art vision and language, pre-trained models, a number of out-of-the-box standard data sets, model components, training and inference utilities. I'd recommend visiting the Facebook AI blog if you're interested in knowing more about investments and contributions to AI. I hope this talk was useful and gave you a quick glimpse into the world of integrity or trust and safety and how technology can help to solve some of the hardest problems in this space. I work in the business integrity org at Facebook. And if you're interested in working on some of these challenging problems, do hit me up. We have a ton of PM, TPM, engineering, design, data science roles open. And thank you.